Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm doing this look, but more importantly than this look is that when I'm uploading this video, it has officially been 10 years, an actual decade that I've been on YouTube, which is wild. So in this video, I decided this is my third eye look I've done actually today, because I did one and then I was like, no, I don't like that. I need to do something really like special and crazy because it's like a special video. So I did the second eye look and then I was like, this is like too crazy and it's like taking over the video and it's like too much about the eye look. It needs to just be about like, you know, the being on YouTube for 10 years. I was like, okay, so then I just need to do something more simple. So I did this and I was like, well, this didn't turn out how I wanted it to either, but I still like it. And I was just like, you know what? This is fine. Like, this is a cute little eye look and we're just gonna go with it and everything's gonna be fine. So in this video, we're gonna be doing this eye look. I'll do obviously the rest of my makeup too. And just kind of like, you know, I'm gonna do a lot of talking probably about my last 10 years on YouTube and how that's been, because that's a long time. And yeah, just kind of be like chatty and stuff. And that is the plan. So I'm gonna start off this look by doing my eyebrows really quick. I'm gonna use my soap and I'm spraying it with my Morphe setting mist. Just a little spritz. I take a spoolie and just rub it on there and get a lot of soap on there. And then you just brush it up for a little while. So I moved rooms. So if you notice, my background looks different. I like it so much. It looks so much cuter. You get like my computer, a little plant, my little sign that I always have in the back. I like it so much. And so yeah, we were just like moved around rooms in our house. We moved couches in our house and everything changed and I really like how everything's looking. So yeah, I'm in a different room and I like this room so much better for like an office. So yes, I am basically, once I run the soap and make sure there's like quite a bit in my brow, I take my finger and I stamp it down. I have like really thin brow hairs, but they're still somehow unruly even though they're so thin, and you'd think like thicker brow hairs would be more unruly, but mine are. And so what I like to do is press it so that they stick like to my face basically. But this way, like they'll stay like this all day. If I don't like press them down, they will slowly start to just kind of like fall back down in place. So that's why I press them, so that they stay, you know, up. And you'll like, when you're getting the soap into your brush and into your kind of making your mix, you want to make it like a pretty thick. You don't want it to be like watery. So you just want to use a little bit of your spray and then just run your brush into the soap until it's like, you can see on here, it's like quite thick, the soap that's on here. That's where you're going for it to get like maximum hold. And then I just go in with my Urban Decay Brow Blade. And then this is what I use to like enhance the hairs, because my hairs are, as you can see, they're like, you can see them, but they're kind of light. And then when I put foundation and everything on, you'd like lose them. Like if I naturally had some nice dark, you know, brow hairs, or if you naturally have really nice dark brow hairs, you wouldn't have to do this. You could totally just brush them up, but I don't. So yeah, that's why I will go in with this. And yeah, I just kind of go along the hairs and basically just coloring on top of the hairs to darken up the color of the hairs. Now, obviously my skin is really red because, or it's red-ish underneath because I was just like brushing. So I feel like one brow hair looks like orangey, this brow, and then this one looks really cool toned. But yeah, once it's, my redness goes down, it'll look right. I'm gonna leave that for now, and I will go back after I do the eyeshadow and just like touch up as needed. But for the eyeshadow, I'm gonna start off with my base. I'm gonna use two different bases today. So I'm starting off with this, the P. Louise base that I've been using a lot recently. And this is the Blank Canvas base. And I'm just gonna take some of this and I'm gonna focus this more like on my inner corner here and then like above the crease. And then this is why I'll end up touching up, because when you get when you apply this base and you're kind of like blending it in, it'll cover up a little bit the precision of your little hair strokes underneath. So that's why I will go in and touch up later. And then for a second base today, I'm gonna go in with this MAC Pro Longwear Waterproof Color Stick in the color Bitter Clove. Don't come for me. This is literally 4 years old, so I know it's probably not the best thing to use, but it's still so creamy and it still works so well, so I like don't care also. And so see how like creamy and pigmented it is? It hasn't even dried out at all. Like I'm very impressed, honestly. So what I'm doing is I'm making a big chunky wing shape, basically filling in my whole lid with this. And obviously this doesn't need to be perfect. Just kind of like slap it on in like a little wing. And then I'm just gonna take this Morphe E36 pencil brush just to buff this around. And having the base down first of the P. Louise base above the crease means that when I go in, and as you can see here, I'm kind of like dabbing around the edge of that, it's gonna start to blend out really nice because there's that light base there. All right, for eyeshadow today, I'm gonna go into a palette that I've only used once on my channel, and when I did use it, I was not impressed with it really at all. It is this one right here. It's this MAC Art Library palette in the color Nude Model. Just wasn't what I expected the first time I used it. So I just wanted to like use it again because I haven't used it literally since that video. So I'm giving it like a second shot today, and it definitely went better today. Again, like I said, I still am not like something about like me doing makeup today. I think I'm like under so much pressure to make this a good video because it's like celebrating 10 years that I'm like, it's not going that way because I'm putting too much pressure on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's what's happening. But yeah, we're gonna use this today. From this palette, I'm gonna be using this shade here and this shade here, and then just a splish of this one here. And then for my shimmers on my lid, I'm using the CUTIE Platinum palette that I used in my last video from NABLA, and I'm using this shade in the corner for most of my lid. And then I just took a little bit of the shade here in the corner from the NABLA Metropolitan palette that I also showed you in my last video. This one a little bit too, just to like lighten it up a tiny bit. So that's the eyeshadows we're gonna use. So we're gonna kind of move on from that and just focus on the video because I haven't talked at all about YouTube and I've already been filming for like 10 minutes. So yeah, it's been 10 years since I started YouTube. I went back and I looked at the first video I have on my channel, and I'm so upset with myself, honestly, because it's actually not my first video. So I had one video before that, and I can't even tell you what it was about because I do not remember, but I do remember that I deleted it. And I deleted it years ago because I'm pretty sure it was so cringy and terrible that like I couldn't bear to like look at it. I wish I would have just made it private so I could like go back and look at it now, you know, but I didn't because I'm an idiot. So I made it, I deleted it. So who knows what it was. So we'll just say the other one is my first video. So technically that video went up on April 30th, but I created my channel and uploaded my real first video on April 21st, 2010, which is just like, oh God. It's so crazy to me. So I started YouTube pretty early on in the YouTube. Like I know YouTube, like people doing like makeup and stuff got started, I think in like 2008 or 2009. So it was pretty, you know, on the earlier end of the YouTubes. And my first video, I'm gonna like put in throughout this video little shots of some of my videos throughout the years. But at that point in time, you know, I was really getting into makeup. I was going to college, majoring in math, wanting, or kind of, yeah, like technically my major at that point was mathematics, but my thought process was I wanted to be a high school math teacher. And so that's where I was like going, and I was not built for high school because I did really well in or sorry, I wasn't built for college. I did really well in school, in high school. I got really good grades, and I didn't have to try. I was that person where I just like didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to study. I did my homework like in the class before the next class, you know, when it was due. And, you know, I didn't have to do a lot to get by. And then I went to college, and I learned really fast that does not work in college. So I started my channel April 2010. At that point, I'd been watching a lot of hair videos. Like when my first year of college, I was watching a lot of hair videos. And then that's how I got introduced to makeup videos, because they would be in like the recommended videos. Would be some like hair, makeup videos. And then I started watching the makeup videos, and I was like, oh, I love this. And you guys know, if you've been following long enough, if you've noticed when I've posted it on like my Instagram and stuff, I draw. Drawing something I love. I've been drawing forever. And, so I've always had like this artistic, you know, thing in me. And so I was getting into hair, and then I kind of realized that like makeup was a thing, you know? And so then I started getting into the makeup and watching the makeup videos, and something about makeup just like spoke to me, because it was like artistic, and I was like a pretty ugly kid, you know? So there was something really fun about makeup and being able to like enhance myself and feel pretty, because I never really felt pretty like in high school. Even like my first year of college, like I was kind of busted. So makeup was a cool outlet for me to feel pretty and kind of be able to like change myself, not in a bad way, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like feel more confident in myself that I like never felt really confident before. So I got into watching it, and then finally I was like, you know, I could do that, you know? I was finishing up my spring semester, I think that would be, of my sophomore year. No, I wasn't. I actually know, now that I think about it, I had got a job after my first year of college, or during my first year of college, actually. I got a job at like a shoe store, a kid's shoe store. And I was doing that, and then I decided after my first semester of my sophomore year, I was like, you know what? College is not for me. Like, this is not for me. I was not built for this. It's not like bringing me joy. It's not something I like. And so I decided to leave college, which I did. And then that summer, I started my YouTube channel in April. And that summer, I got the opportunity to work for Estee Lauder. If you guys have been with me, I'm so curious how long you guys have been with me also. Like, leave a comment for how long you've been watching my videos. I'm curious to see like who's been watching since like the beginning, if there's anyone left. I feel like there might be. But April, I started my channel, and in June I got a job at Estee Lauder, and I finally felt like in a good place. You know, I finally felt like this is like the community I belong in, you know, like getting into makeup and getting into cosmetics and all that. So I started that, and I kept doing YouTube. It was really like infrequent back then. And I just like have kept doing it obviously since then. And, you know, over the years, if you've been following me long enough, I was very like, I feel like my whole YouTube career has been waves of consistency and then inconsistency. I also think I never like looked at this really as a career opportunity. So I never thought of it that way. So I feel like for every single time I was building momentum on YouTube, something happened and I made a decision that squashed all the momentum, you know? Like, I remember for the first like 2 years, it was like 2 years, and I had like just hit 1,000 subscribers after like 2 years, maybe even 3 years. It was a while. And then I did a drawing of Emily Noel 83, and I did a drawing of her with makeup on my channel, and then she saw it, and she like reposted it. And that's when I got like my first boom, because she reposted it and made like a whole blog post back when blogs were a thing about it. And I got like 2,000 subscribers overnight. And then within the next couple months, I was up to like like 20,000 or something, and then it was like 30,000, and I was finally like building momentum. And that was around the time when I was married to my first husband. If you guys remember seeing him in some of my videos before. Again, you'd have to be like someone who's been watching me since back in the day. And there was a time, it was around that time, I was working for Lancome. Like I had moved after like I worked for Estee Lauder for like a year. I moved in like to North Carolina, and I was there for a little while. I met my husband there, and then we moved to Florida, which was like 7 years ago now. And I was in Florida, and that's when I started working at MAC. And that's sort of when like I feel like my YouTube journey kind of changed a little bit, because I started working at MAC probably a couple months after, you know, I had my first like little boom, and I was kind of like, oh my God, like I've, you know, a decent amount of subscribers now, and I was getting, you know, really good views and everything. And I got a job with MAC, and I was with MAC for 8 or 9 months when I decided that I was gonna be divorcing my husband, and I decided that I wanted something different and more, and I was realizing that my career was like, it could take off with MAC. So I had like found that I had a real strength in like managing people, and I'm taking the lightest highlight from this. This is a very MAC video, and this was not intentional. This MAC Hyper Real Glow Palette, I'm taking the lighter color for my inner corner. But yeah, I was like, you know, realizing that I could have like a career in MAC, and I could like move up and, you know, get into like managing my own store and all of that stuff. And so like my YouTube was doing really well, but I was definitely always really cautious about it, because I felt like, you know, tomorrow you could be, no one could watch your videos, and then it'll be over. And then like, I always was very, I always feel like I should take the safe route instead of like just going for something that might be difficult. So I was like, it's more safe for my future if I do the real outside in the world career. You know, I didn't think like YouTube could ever be a career. So I made the decision to do that. I got a promotion, and that's when I moved to Tampa, and I divorced my ex-husband. And you know, right before that happened, I was in a place where like, you know, I'd put up a video and it would get a lot of views, every single video, and there was a lot of engagement. I get like hundreds of comments every video I put up, and I was getting a lot of engagement, like I said, and it was my YouTube was in a really good place. And when I moved, you know, my job ended up being a lot harder than I thought it would be, you know, kind of getting into, I was an assistant manager of a MAC store there in Tampa. It was a really big store. We had a lot of employees. There was a lot going on. And then like in my outside life, I didn't realize how hard it would be to get a divorce and move to a city you've never lived in before and be completely alone. Like I was just completely alone. And so I didn't realize the mental toll that would take on me. And so, you know, I put a lot of time into work, but also a lot more time into like my personal life and like making friends. I started dating a guy who was a fucking asshole. And because I wanted to like meet people and, you know, be around people. I'm a very like people-centric kind of person. Like I enjoy being around people a lot. And so, I definitely feel like it was, again, one of those things where it's like I put my YouTube on the back burner, and there was another time where I would just have like a months long hiatus, you know, from YouTube, and then I would come back. And I think that was always my problem with ever gaining momentum is, you know, throughout the last 10 years of doing YouTube, I've taken so many breaks, you know, and so it was like a break, and then I, you know, was with him for like a year, and I would do videos here and there, and they were doing pretty good still. And, you know, I was building up subscribers even more, a little bit, you know, but a lot slower than I was. And then I broke up with him, and then I met my husband, And when I met him, it was another thing where it was kind of like, again, I was like, you know, I've got a new relationship and all this other stuff. And then I got promoted and I got my own store. If you guys remember, like years ago, it was like 3 or 4 years ago now, I got my, no, it's 4 years ago. I got promoted to store manager of my own Mac store. It was like a brand new store opening up and I was so excited. But that was, again, like so much workload. So it was like, as soon as that happened, boom, another hiatus, like gone from YouTube. And then finally when I got back into it again with YouTube, then I got pregnant. And while I was pregnant, I just had so much anxiety and health things going on when I was pregnant that I took like another hiatus from YouTube. So that was always my issue, is like I always let my personal life like take over, where I feel like some people make YouTube their personal life. They make it like their whole thing. I never did that. It's always been a hobby for me, and I enjoy it. I mean, I'm sure I could have made this possibly a career if I wouldn't have taken so many breaks back in the day. But I'm not upset about it. You know what I'm saying? Like people, I've had people ask me about that before. And, you know, and talking to people when they're like curious about like my YouTube, when they find out I do the YouTube and I've done it for so long or whatever. And I can definitely say that I think if I would have not taken any breaks, you know, back in the day, especially maybe like 5 or 6 years ago when I had like my most momentum and my most growth, I definitely think my channel could have been a lot bigger than it is, for sure. That doesn't mean, do I think I would have been one of these people with millions of subscribers? I doubt it. But I do think, you know, I could have been pretty decent. Again, especially with the momentum I had back then. But I'm, at the same time, I'm happy with the route I took in kind of prioritizing my life and career outside of YouTube, because I'm very fulfilled in the job I have. If you guys remember, like maybe last summer is when Shane and I moved from Florida to the middle of fucking nowhere, and because he's in the Air Force, and I decided there, you know, I was gonna do like the stay-at-home mom thing for a while. So I was like stay-at-home mom, and I was doing a lot of YouTube videos all the time and posting so much and everything. And as nice as it was to be really regular, it's like not where I thrive making YouTube like 100% all the time. I've never felt, kind of like I said at the beginning of this, so like, I don't know, with such a sense of belonging and a sense of like feeling like I'm doing the right thing or feeling really fulfilled as I do in cosmetics and in retail and in managing people and working with other people. I love what I do so much. Like, I love, now that I work for Ulta, I'm a general manager for an Ulta store. Like, I love that so much. Like, that is like my passion, like working with my coworkers and like, you know, working in a store where you're meeting a lot of people, you're working around makeup all the time, and where you can like, I love helping people learn things. And so that's really where I like thrive. And so as much as I think, like if I think to myself honestly, like, yeah, I probably could have made this a career, I don't think I would have been fulfilled doing this as a career. I love doing this as a hobby, but it's like never been a career for me. And you know, it's been a hobby for 10 years now. Like, I can't imagine, it'd be weird to never do this again. Like, even though, you know, I'm not getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views anymore, like, even if I put up a video and it gets like, you know, a couple hundred views, like I still feel good about that, and it's still like fun, you know? And that's one thing I never wanted, is YouTube to become like this chore, or, you know, to become like this thing you have to do. I always loved having it be like my escape and just something I did for fun and to be creative and to like connect with other people. That's what I've always loved about it. So yes, maybe 10 years ago when I first started, I was like, I'm gonna have all these subscribers and this is gonna be cool and it's gonna blow up and it's gonna be all this and that. I'm still like really happy with where I'm at now, because again, it's like I've made it my hobby and something really fun, and it's just now like no longer worrying about like oh, I'm not getting this many views or that many views or whatever. It's always been now like, this is just something I enjoy and it's fun to do. And so yeah, I'm really happy that it's turned out this way for sure. So I am going to lightly touch up my brows really quick. If obviously in all that talking, I finished up my eyes and I put on my Morphe lashes in the style Secretive. I used my L'Oreal Telescopic mascara and I used the carbon black one. And yeah, now I'm just gonna kind of like touch up my brows because I think this other one is darker than this one. So I'm in the middle of editing and I look crazy. It looks so great. And I don't know if you realized, as I was just talking and saying I finished my eyes, just to kind of cherry on top of this whole video and my struggles in the beginning, I was talking about not being able to figure out what to do. I never did a winged liner on my other eye. I have a wing liner on one eye and not the other eye, and I didn't realize it for the entire rest of this video. So I'm gonna end this video with just one eyeliner on. So don't judge me. If anything, it makes it more special of a video. So hope you guys enjoy me looking like an idiot for the rest of the video. But I think my lashes kind of hit it, but yeah. All right, so now I'm gonna work on my face. This brow is still way warmer looking than this one. And I think that's because with this eye, I did my brows like after I did my eyeshadow. So I think some of that blank canvas base was like on my brows. So when I was like brushing through it, it was brushing some of that blank canvas stuff on my brows, which made it look more gray tone because it kind of like mixed with the concealer, if that makes sense. Whereas this one I went on just with nothing. So you can still see some of the red underneath, I think, on my skin because it's like I had the base over here a little bit, where this side I didn't. So I'm hoping like when I do my foundation and stuff, I can kind of like almost go over my brow a little bit with the foundation, and it's gonna like cool down the warmth of this. I don't know, we'll see what happens. So I've already put on primer. I used the Revlon Photo Ready Prime Plus primer, and this is the Perfecting and Smoothing one. It's the one with the pinky top. So I put that all over already. And now we're gonna do some foundation. I like, when I was pulling stuff out for today's video, I pulled like a lot of different stuff that I feel like I haven't used in a while because I don't know, I didn't want to be boring. So I'm using my Tarte Face Heat Foundation. This is the shade 22N, which is called Light Neutral. I still feel like it's kind of yellow, but it's fine. We will make it work. And I'm just going to apply this, obviously, all over my face. I'm using this Jaclyn Hill Master Remix set, I think is what that was called. Her newest set. This is from that set. I love this brush. But yeah, kind of continuing my conversation from before. Very happy with where I'm at now. Like having this be my hobby and having my career be my career, you know, because there's less pressure. Like I said, you know, feeling like 10 years later, I have a lot less pressure. I feel like than I would if I was trying to make this a career, because then I'd be constantly like, oh, you know, this didn't get as many views. I need this to get, you know, a certain amount of views, and then worrying about like, you know, am I gonna make enough money and ad revenue to like pay my bills and stuff, where now I'm like, I have a nice salary and I don't have to worry about that because I have a job that, you know, I go into and it's like, you know, whatever. And also that security, knowing there's always the growth. Because again, I mean, people, it's sort of like you, I guess you know, you could make a big risky bet, right? Like if I would have done YouTube as a career, that would have been a risky bet back then. Like if it was gonna pay off, you know what I'm saying? And so I decided not to take the risky bet. I took the more safe bet of having a career in like the real world. I'm not saying that YouTube's not a real career, but you know what I mean. And that's the, you know, bet I decided on, and it was a safer bet. So maybe there's less, you know, return from that bet than it would be if you won on the risky bet, but then you don't lose as much either. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm equating this to like gambling or like the stock market or something, but that's kind of like to think about it, because obviously people who make it big on YouTube, you know, they make quite a bit of money. But I've also, I've also seen people, again, fall in and out of popularity on YouTube. And I mean, myself, you know, I definitely don't, like I said, I don't get the views I used to. But, you know, God forbid I made this my career and then that happened, you know, like what would I do then? I would be back to square one with the last 10 years of not having any job other than doing YouTube videos. And it's sort of like, then what do you do? When you need a job, you got kids to feed. So yeah, again, I think it all turned out the way I wanted it to. Like maybe again, not from what I initially thought I wanted, but what I realized I really wanted, you know, as I got older. And I'm really happy, you know, with where I'm at now. And it's cool too, cause like, you know, it transitioned onto Instagram too. And I feel like I do pretty decent on Instagram versus YouTube. And I love that too. Like I have that outlet too, where I can like talk to people. And that's one of the really cool things I think that I was not expecting from this whole thing. I'm gonna use ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Was the relationships, because I now have created relationships with people, like real friends, you know, that I've met in person and stuff. It's like so cool. Like I have people who watch me and they've watched me for years and we like message each other and I follow them and I like, you know, I've like gotten to, you know, to know their family and stuff. And it's sort of like such an interesting thing that I didn't think would be, you know, something that would happen going into this that has happened. And it's like so cool, you know? So yeah, that's kind of been a nice little aspect too of like creating real relationships with you guys who watch me and, you know, message and stuff, and we like message, or I follow a lot of people. And that's why I love when I get messages from you guys, because, you know, especially on Instagram where I feel like you can more easily interact, because then like I like to follow you guys back and then, you know, see like, you know, become friends with people, you know. And I realize it's on the internet or whatever, but like I said, I've met quite a bit of people in person, and I don't know, it's just been, that's been a really cool thing as well. I'm gonna try this powder today because I don't think I initially tried it really, and I didn't try it, no, I don't think I've tried it at all. This is the NABLA translucent powder. It's called Close-Up Baking Setting Powder. I didn't really like their close-up pressed powder, so we will see if I like this. I usually don't like transparent powder, so I'm not like, you know, feeling like I'm gonna be obsessed, because I don't know, translucent powders just don't work for me. I like powders with coverage. That's why I like the Maybelline one so much, but I just want to try this. See, translucent powders darken my under eye. I don't know if that's coming off very obviously, but they always do that. They make my under eye look darker. That's why I always go in with tinted ones that are kind of like lighter, because then I feel like my under eye keeps like looking nice and bright. I don't like this translucent powder. And it's not even like this. It's like all translucent powders. I don't like them. I don't know, they just don't do it for me. And I feel like they look more dry, you know, than like my Maybelline powder. I don't feel like it very rarely looks dry on me. So I'm curious to know, like, in the comments, like I said before, like if you want to leave me a comment about like how long you've been watching my videos, but I'm also curious to know if you remember like how you found my videos for the first time. Just because I don't know, I'm very curious about that. It's kind of interesting. Well, now my face looks so dry. I'm going to spray down my face with my Morphe Luminous Setting Mist, and I'm going to do a lot of this. I'm going to take a little bit of this Too Faced Turn Up the Light palette. I'm going to take the middle shade, and I'm just going to try to like put this on to give my face some luminosity. This is more of a luminous setting powder, so I'm hoping it'll kind of add some luminosity to my face. And I'm just going to use this JH11 brush, again from that same set. I really love that set so much. I just kind of want to buff this all around. This brush is kind of flimsy in a nice way and really soft, which is nice. But this powder requires a bit of a firmer brush, so it's not picking up as much powder as I would have wanted it to, but it's fine. Another thing I think in these last 10 years that it's been like a really nice thing, and I feel like I kind of touched on it, was just like the confidence boost. Like I think talking to a camera helped me talk to people more. If you take a look back at my first video, I'm so awkward. I was so awkward in that video, and it still can be pretty awkward, but I feel like doing YouTube and kind of like forcing myself to talk to myself, you know, talk to my camera and put myself out there to random strangers, you know what I'm saying? It like has forced me to be more outgoing, which is such a nice thing because I think it really boosted my confidence and helped me become a lot more confident, because I was always like a very, I don't know, I've never been like a super confident person, not just in my looks, but like in talking to people. And I feel like I would tend to put up a front of being like cold and unapproachable when I was younger, because I was just like so afraid to talk to like strangers and, you know, make relationships with people I didn't know. Like I never made relationships with people when I was younger, like in high school. Like I didn't, you know, party, or, which is not in like a bad thing, but I like wouldn't hang out with people very often because again, I was kind of just like very to myself. And being on YouTube, again, it's like just really made me kind of like come out of my shell and really changed my personality in a really nice way to make me more outgoing. So that's been another really nice kind of thing. I put the bronzer I used today was the KYLIE bronzer in the shade Toasty. I'm gonna put on some blush. I'm gonna use the Morphe Pop of Rose palette, and I'm gonna use the lightest color in here. And I'm just gonna kind of fluff some of this on. For highlight today, I'm gonna go back into this MAC Hyper Real Glow palette, which I haven't used in so long. And I'm just gonna mix these two colors here like I usually do when I use this palette. Whoa, that was a lot of highlight. And then I really want to do like a really nude lip today, and I want to do like a pinky brown toned kind of lip. That's what I'm going for here. So I'm just gonna use some of my favorites here. So I'm gonna use Morphe Sweetheart lip pencil, and then I'm gonna use this MAC lipstick in the shade Bosom Friend, which is really light. So I'm gonna try to do like a minimal amount of this. All right, guys, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed the look. Thank you so much to all of you guys who are subscribed to me and watch my videos on a regular basis, or maybe you watch them every once in a while. I just appreciate you being here. This has been such an amazing like time to like kind of like reflect and realize like 10 years of having this like hobby and this thing I'm doing that it just really brought me a lot of joy, a lot of confidence. It definitely changed my life in a lot of positive ways. And I'm just so thankful for you guys and for the community I have and for the relationships I've made from YouTube. And who knows if this will still be around 10 years from now, but I don't see myself stopping doing this unless, you know, something radical changes, because it's just something I really enjoy doing and I have a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun being creative. So thank you so much again for watching this video, and yeah, I will see you in my next one.